Hello, and welcome to Allegedly Astrology. Each week, we break down the astrology that happened during some of the biggest scandals and events in history.
Thanks so much to everyone for listening to our show. And if you want to support us, you can leave us a 5-star review and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And if you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and DM us a screenshot of your review, we'll make you a custom meme of your big three and send you a quick write-up about it.
We also have very cool and very exclusive Patreon. So if you want more awesome astrology content, join us at patreon.com/allegedlyastrology.
And follow us on social. We are not posting as much because the algorithm gods are against us. Actually, Dana's very active on our Twitter. She recently, I wouldn't say went viral,
Gemini.
but for us went...
It was very neat.
In our eyes,
it was a niche viral moment.
But if you want to follow us there, we're Allegedly Astro on Twitter, Allegedly Astrology on Instagram and TikTok. And now we're also on YouTube. So if you want to listen to the show there, you should subscribe.
You should subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. And maybe someday we'll show our faces.
Yes.
But we have to get 1,000 subscribers for that. So we will show our faces when we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So tell your friends.
This podcast has Libra on the 12th house, so we need a lot of encouragement and participation in order for us to show our faces.
Wow, that's why.
I mean, I get it. That's how I'm going to spin
we
that.
hide behind a mysterious, spooky lady, but
that's true. And besides us being mysterious, if your life feels mysterious and you want to get some more information about it, you can visit our website and book a reading with Dana. And you could also check out charts and transcripts for select episodes. And you could find that at allegedlyastrology.com.
It's an astrology reading and a demystification.
So with that, Dana, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about someone I'm a really big fan of, and it's JoJo Siwa.
Which is unexpected. Just 3 35-year-old gals loving JoJo Siwa. But basically, JoJo Siwa is currently like America's meme, right? Even if you don't know her and you look her up, you'll be like, oh, I know who that person is.
Amazing.
She's just on the internet. So, but before that, she was known for being an American singer, dancer, actress, and YouTube personality. And So You Think You Can Dance judge, known for her time on the Lifetime show Dance Moms. I haven't personally seen Dance Moms, but this episode has inspired me to watch. So
it's so good.
JoJo's a millionaire at only 21 years old, thanks to her bow line, like her hair bow line.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Singing dolls.
Yeah.
Books.
I wish it was like an archery one.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it an archery bow? Then she would definitely be a Sagittarius. But yeah, she has a line at JCPenney, and she was actually named on Time's annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. So she's doing something right. And recently has come into the spotlight for not being a child anymore because of her song Karma. And it's not the Taylor Swift song. So let's learn about JoJo Siwa and her astrology.
I'm truly so obsessed with her. She is just truly something.
I love how she talks like this.
Yeah. Why does she have it's almost like a Baltimore accent or something?
Oh my God. My favorite
It's
accent.
a Baltimore accent.
Her voice is very aggressive sometimes. So JoJo was born Joelle Joni Siwa, and her mom is named Jessalyn Siwa, and her mom was a professional dance instructor. Her dad's name is Tom, and he's a chiropractor. She also has an older brother named Jaden. From forever since she was born, she enjoyed dancing, and her mom taught her how to dance. So big stage mom energy. So what's her big three, Dana?
JoJo Siwa was born on May 19th, 2003 at 4:12 a.m. in Omaha, Nebraska. And this chart is a C rating, so we're pretty sure it's true, but not positive. And she has a Taurus Sun, a Capricorn Moon, and an Aries Rising.
Wow.
So yeah, her Taurus Sun, she likes comfort, luxury, money, pleasure. She needs her sleep. It's ruled by Venus in domicile in Taurus, which enables her to achieve the goals that her sun sets, and she gets her needs met. And she also has Mercury retrograde in Taurus, so she puts a lot of pressure on herself to perform and probably has to combat negative self-talk, which is also a theme of her natal Capricorn moon. So if you guys when I saw this picture, I was like, But then I looked at the whole chart. I was, wondering why her style is the way it is.
I was going to say, this is a big three of someone who's a little chicer, not this wild clown energy.
Well, okay, so she has, she literally has cars that she had wrapped with her face covered in them. And I think that's insane, but great. So all of these Taurus placements she has are squared by Mars conjunct Neptune and Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign that needs to stand out and it needs to be different. And
Weirdo.
Neptune is enigmatic. Yeah, for sure. Weirdo.
There it is.
And she also has Jupiter in Leo, which is a placement that really embodies the hero's journey. And Jupiter in Leo is definitely confident enough to use their face as decoration. So there's that. Also, Leo can be childlike sometimes. I think of Tinsley Mortimer and her dressed as a circus doll, crying to her mom on that episode of...
I wish I had $1 for every time
I was going to say, she
brought up
does that
Tinsley
all the time.
Mortimer. Whenever the word childlike comes up,
Maybe I should get a new example.
You need to get a new example.
Okay.
So next episode.
Well, now it's going to be JoJo's Jupiter.
Yeah, exactly. JoJo's Jupiter. Hashtag.
I just am a Real Housewives fan, or I mean, not actively, but in the past I've been a huge one. So, and I listen to a podcast about Bravo, even though I don't watch the shows. So
Jupiter and Leo.
It's just part of my jargon.
It's just part of my jargon. Honestly, I wish I had Jupiter and Leo. It seems like it's so fun. You just like act as fool.
Yeah, like the ASAP song, Wild for the Night, fuck people. Or is that Skrillex? It's maybe both. That's very, yeah. So 2 years we'll get that when we're 37. Okay, so she has her Capricorn moon in detriment, and Capricorn, the moon's in detriment in Capricorn. Capricorn likes to work, but the moon needs to feel, and these things can be at odds with each other. People with Capricorn moons learn to repress their emotions and prioritize performance. They often have people dependent on them from an early age. Her moon is ruled by Saturn in Gemini in her natal third house, and Saturn in the third house can show independence in early education or teachers treating her unfairly. It could also be an older brother, so I'm not sure if her older brother is much older than her, but that would also definitely be Saturn in the third. And Saturn in Gemini ruling her moon makes her smart, funny, and curious about other people and their feelings. Not necessarily good at maybe better at talking about feelings than, feeling them. And her moon is in her 10th house, literally conjunct her midheaven and Chiron. So the moon is the body, the midheaven is fame and public reputation. And she rose to fame for being a child dancer. Chiron is the wound. It can also sometimes show talent. So she might be subjected to unfair scrutiny from the public with a Capricorn moon on her midheaven. But she also finds strength in fame, and having the moon on her midheaven reflects feeling like your emotions are on display and people just will have opinions about her feelings no matter what. Then she has an Aries rising, and so she's confident, excited, eager to try new things, really enjoys the spotlight and has boundless energy. And her ascendant is ruled by Mars in Aquarius in her 11th house. And so I already talked about that Mars-Neptune conjunction. And that makes her just prioritize uniqueness and standing out in a crowd, the 11th house's audience. And again, Neptune makes her enigmatic, right? There's something about her. And this conjunction in her natal 11th house just makes her a prime candidate for YouTube fame and being an influencer. And then Mercury stationed direct just 22 hours after she was born. So she's really mercurial, especially since Mercury rules her Saturn, which rules her Mars, which rules her ascendant and rules her midheaven and her moon. So she's really about the mind. And I think she's a lot smarter than people think she is. Neptune also stationed retrograde 3 days before she was born. So Neptune on that Mars really enhances that sort of enigmatic allure and people being either confused by her, or it could also make her prone to sort of like she was seen drinking at Epcot. That's very Neptune conjunct Mars in Aquarius in her 11th house. Then Uranus stationed retrograde 18 days after she was born. So maybe around age 18 was when she had a major shift.
21 years old. She's allowed to drink at Epcot.
Yeah,
but it's a weird thing to do. I won't pretend.
It seems very on brand for JoJo Siwa.
Sure.
Just talking about her childless, boundless energy. Why wouldn't she want to be childlike at a theme park and get drunk? That seems
because
very
at
on brand.
Epcot too, you could like drink around the world. So people do it all the time and get hammered because you have drinks from all these different countries.
Things that Sarah knows now that she lives in the great state of Florida.
Yeah. It would be weirder if she went to like Disney World and got hammered, but she went to a place where like it's known for people to go there and drop mad money to black out because their goal is to go to like every country. Yeah.
All right. People have their interests.
People have their I feel like we would still go drink at Epcot today.
I mean, I wouldn't if I was there, you know.
Like if I had to be there, I guess I would drink there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would actively go there for that.
I would actively fight against going there.
Like I've seriously discussed
And then I would
going
give
there
in.
to do that.
But you live nearby.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
JoJo was very much involved in acting, singing, and dancing, but she rose to fame when she became a reality star at 9 years old when she competed on Dance Mom's spinoff, which is called Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, during its second season.
And her mom is very much a stage mom and knew how to get camera time. That was a big thing about JoJo, is JoJo has a very big personality. And, you know, that Mercury in Taurus, she is very talkative and she knows how to kind of ruffle feathers. I feel like she had a lot of confidence. And her mom just knew how to get her on screen. One of the things her mom said was like, I would say it's my mission to make JoJo a star. And that was like the kickoff episode of the Abby dance competition. So what was going on when JoJo made her reality TV debut?
This was September 3rd, 2013, and the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Leo, and it was a dark moon phase. So you're thinking about spreading new seeds, but also you're not really sure where you're going. The sun in Virgo has a plan, and the moon in Leo wants to be a star, especially because Mars is also in Leo, and that's a planet of action and pursuit. And Mercury was domiciled and exalted in Virgo, so that's able to see the plan to fruition, but it's up against the sun and Mercury, or the sun and Mercury are up against Neptune and Chiron and Pisces. And so Neptune opposite the sun makes it impossible to see really fully what you're up against, the whole picture. There's some smoke and mirrors. And Chiron was exactly opposite the sun. That means that people are going to get their feelings hurt. And Jupiter was exalted in Cancer, squaring Venus domicile in Libra. So these are the two benefic planets. And when they square each other, people go all out to satisfy their desires. And with both planets strong in Cancer and Libra, two signs that really care about relationships, it's all about teamwork and maybe achieving group goals. I guess it's achieving a family goal with Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer, the family goal of making JoJo Siwa famous. And Jupiter in Cancer is opposite Pluto in Capricorn, which is metaphorically negotiating with terrorists. It's also about power gains and placating people to get what you want. And then Saturn is conjunct the North Node in Scorpio, which is very Machiavellian and being ready to sacrifice your needs to achieve your goals by any means necessary.
So in this case, Abby is the terrorist.
Perhaps. I mean, I've never seen it, so I can't really comment exactly on it. But
she's known for being very aggressive.
That clip of her.
Yeah, I've just seen clips of her, but
she's
it just
very
seems
funny.
I feel like this chart, though, is very dance reality show, just how much Virgo it is, because dance is so precise, especially with judging. And Abby, even though this is a spinoff of her show, she is known for being insanely hypercritical to these children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Yeah. That's perfect. So just looking at these transits on JoJo's chart, Pluto in Capricorn is conjunct her midheaven, which is just saddling her with both the power and burden of fame. It's her first nodal opposition, and the South Node is conjunct her natal Mercury in Taurus. So the first nodal opposition occurs around age 9 and 10, when the eclipses are happening in the same signs they were in when you were born, but the nodes are in the opposite signs. And
It's interesting that, because we always talk about nodal oppositions in this show, but not about children. I feel like it's interesting to hear about a child that had an interesting nodal opposition, their very first one. Normally, you don't really think about what might have happened to you around that age. But
yeah, it's probably just something like freaked you out.
Right.
That affected you for the rest of your life that you're going to deal with forever.
In a dance reality TV show, but it's still, that is a very interesting age. So it kind of makes sense that that's when the nodal, for your first nodal opposition.
So yeah, they knock you off the path that you're on, but put you on a path that you don't see coming. And the South Node conjunct her Mercury challenges how she thinks, probably making her self-conscious or just making her very aware of what she's saying, which is the definition of self-conscious. And Mercury rules her third house of school and her sixth house of work and daily routine. So the South Node transiting Mercury really eliminates life as she knows it in these categories. And then Jupiter in Cancer is conjunct her IC. So this reflects her moving to a new home for better opportunities. And Jupiter's also opposite her natal moon. So this could be maybe when she started being the breadwinner and supporting her family. If she did that, I'm assuming she did, as most child stars do. It's also her Mars opposition, and Mars is conjunct her natal Jupiter in Leo. So the Mars opposition challenges us to overcome our competition, and Mars conjunct Jupiter enhances all that Leo confidence and makes her really want to do her best and be the best. And Saturn conjunct the North Node in Scorpio is in her natal 8th house. Saturn's responsibilities. The North Node is increase, and the 8th house is what we share with others. And then Saturn is opposite her natal Venus and Mercury. So Saturn in Scorpio opposite Venus and Taurus applies pressure and asks, how much are you willing to sacrifice? How much discomfort are you willing to withstand to achieve your goals? It also subjects her to scrutiny for her performance and her aesthetics. And then Uranus is in Aries, conjunct her ascendant. So just sudden diversions in life and life circumstances. And Neptune is conjunct her natal Uranus and Pisces in her 12th house. So maybe making some hidden enemies. Or just things that surprise her that she doesn't really see coming. Things that she feels maybe lured into, being just really big surprises that she doesn't see coming that could feel deceiving. And then she was in an 11th house Aquarius year, and Saturn was her time lord. So she's working hard to stand out and earning her audience.
She's working hard. So JoJo would end up placing 5th in the reality show. However, JoJo and her mom, pretty shortly after that, joined the Abby Lee Dance Company during the 5th season of Dance Moms.
And if you don't know what Dance Moms is, oh my God, literally go watch it right now. It is available on Hulu because I just started watching it today. But it's an American reality series that was on Lifetime, and it followed the Abby Lee Dance Company, their junior elite competition team, like dancers that are 6 to 13. And you just watch them travel around the country and compete in dance competitions.
Yeah. And part of what was interesting about the show was not just because these kids were amazing dancers, but the moms were really bitchy to each other and they were rivals of each other on behalf of their daughters. And they would always be arguing with Abby and each other about whose daughter was the best and who got more solos and who were featured more. And, everything you'd think a stage mom would be.
From the episode that I watched today, it was so unhinged because Abby's also really mean to the girls, because she keeps being like, my way of teaching is a little different, but that's because I want to prepare them for real life to be on Broadway as an adult and all this stuff. But a mom came in and just started screaming because also to be in the Abby Lee Dance Company was really expensive. Like you had to try out, make it, and then I think you had to pay her $15,000 or something. It was like a bunch of money.
So
oh my God.
It's a grift.
That's
and
awesome.
Then, but I mean,
insane.
like so many of the girls became like really good dancers. But
I believe it, but that's so insane.
Yeah, like her teaching and choreography, I think, was $15,000, and then you also had to pay every week to go to a different competition. But anyway, Abby told this girl that she couldn't participate in like the day's activities of learning gymnastics or something because her daughter was wearing socks, and the woman like went insane and she started just screaming.
It seems like a really easy fix. You just take the socks off, right?
Well, then it escalated into this weird point where the police were called, and then the girl and her mom got kicked out of the dance company. But anyway, that's very Abby. And Abby is the owner and instructor of Abby Lee Dance Company. She started it, I think, when she was like 14 or something. That's some lore she came up with. But she was very harsh on the girls. She was very strict. She relied a lot on criticism, sometimes personal, to motivate the girls. To me, that is very Virgo, with an emphasis on hard work and competition against her teammates. She was known for using this pyramid. So she basically had all these individual headshots of the girls. And after the week's performance, she would rank them in terms of who is the top one and who is the bottom. And also these girls are like 8 years old.
Jesus.
But it was based off their previous week's performance, attitude, effort, the behavior of the girl herself, and the behavior of her mother. So if your mom was super bitchy to Abby, you would be lower in the pyramid, which basically meant that week you wouldn't get a solo at the competition. Maybe you wouldn't be put in front row, like you'd be put in the back. It would affect you.
The training kids to be codependent.
Yeah.
Like managing their parents' emotions so that they can sit in the front.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so messed up.
Yeah, that's so evil.
But Abby was especially hard on JoJo because JoJo had just a big personality and a big attitude, and Abby would yell at her for wanting attention. And recently, JoJo said that the stress of competing with Abby gave her a bald spot. However, Abby claims that they text frequently and are on good terms. But we're going to look into JoJo's synastry with Abby on the Patreon. So you'll have to subscribe to get that chart.
So during her 2 seasons that she was on Dance Moms, a lot was going on for JoJo besides competing on the show. She launched her own YouTube channel, which honestly went super big. It had more than 12 million subscribers. I think it still has that many today. And she eventually left this series early because she signed a contract with Nickelodeon.
Cool.
And JoJo's signature was her bright, huge bow that she would wear in her hair. And she said that she was obsessed with bows since preschool. And as she got older, the bows just got bigger. And she also said they symbolized power, confidence, and, in quotes, believingness.
That is pure Jupiter in Leo squaring all those Taurus placements.
Believingness.
I love that. I had to keep the word believingness because I was like, I don't even know like what that means.
Right. It just could be like believing in yourself, but believingness.
So naturally, because she is a businesswoman, Cap Moon in the 10th house, JoJo turned her love of bows into a business and she launched her own line. And that, along with her YouTube followers and contracts, has got her very well paid. She's super rich. She has an estimated $20 million. And again, she's only 21. So Dana, is there anything in her chart that would show that, you know, she would be super wealthy?
Yes. So again, she has Venus domicile in Taurus in her natal second house of income. Taurus and Venus is the preferred domicile. And so having this placement in her natal second house just really reflects amassing wealth and being oriented towards that. And her natal sun is also conjunct the North Node, which is an eclipse point that reflects increase. So this conjunction in her natal second house underscores her wealth and having a lot of things. And whenever someone's sun is conjunct the North or South Node, it means they were born near or on an eclipse. And JoJo Siwa was born 3 days after a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. People born during eclipse season will have extreme circumstances in life. So she has extreme wealth and fame.
Love that.
Extreme wealth, extreme fame. Though she's known for being a child star, over the last few years, she started to change her image as she grows older. She came out as a member of the LGBTQ community in 2021 and has had a few public relationships and breakups since then. But that was nothing compared to 2024 when she decided to hard launch a much edgier image. And so JoJo is known for being bright and colorful. And then she surprised everyone when she revealed herself in a black leather bodysuit with the band Kiss style makeup. It was really crazy.
I have to believe, and I've discussed this with several people, and I've received mixed reactions to this thought. I think her handlers or whoever her managers are were like, we're just going to make you into a meme creature because there's no reason why anyone would do what she did to their image for any other reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy.
I feel like these stars almost have to go through this weird growing pains period. These child stars have no idea who they are. And so I feel like when they become adults, they try to do like a complete 180 and then they're like, wait, this is weird. I don't know. I could see her kind of figuring it out, but this was very bizarre.
Yeah. Like, I definitely agree with that, but
yeah. I have a spoiler of Astrology. The single was released right before the eclipse, and the solar eclipse is like a black hole sun. So, and that was on her ascendant. So that's her image.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, we will learn more about that.
Also, Mercury was retrograde, which means decisions that you wish you ruled by later.
I wish you would have made.
Yeah.
No, that
don't
makeup
launch
is
an
like
album
insane.
or a single when Mercury is retrograde.
I mean, honestly, I kind of like the single, which
I do too.
That's what she launched along with this new look. It was called Karma, and the lyrics are a very big departure from her previous songs because she was making music. Her previous music was very children's pop track, so this song is pretty aggressive from what she used to do. And she also said that she was heavily inspired by Miley Cyrus in her Bangers era, which explains a lot.
Yeah. And Karma received a lot of backlash. And it wasn't just because of her style choices and what happened in the music video, which features a lot of girl on girl kissing and dry humping. But because this narrative has grown about her actually stealing the song.
Hating that is so sexist.
It is also just cringe. I think if she hadn't come out as a lesbian, people would say what she did in the video was queer baiting, because she's basically just around all of these girls and she like almost kisses them, but then never does. And she's just humping them the whole time. It's very strange.
Good for her. That sounds, I don't know. I guess I like her, so I'll support her no matter what. And I will defend all of her choices.
You need to watch the music video.
I probably won't.
Let me know what you think. I watch it honestly a few times a week because I think it's so funny.
Okay,
so Karma, the song was originally written for Miley Cyrus, and this song was supposed to come out during her post-Disney phase, which makes a lot of sense because it does sound very 2010s kind of pop song, but Miley never used it. And then it was used again for another artist named Britt Smith, which none of this is that big of a deal. People, producers, writers, they write songs for people all the time. Some get made, some don't. This one was just kind of shelled around. When Britt had it, she recorded a better music video than, to me, what this Karma is with JoJo Siwa, but it was also very confusing because it was with like Timbaland, because I think his production company helped produce the song, but he was clearly shot in a different location than her. And for some reason, he was dressed like a priest, and it was very weird.
Interesting.
But you should watch that one too. But the label decided to never make Britt Smith's version of Karma a single, so it lied in the dust for a decade-ish before JoJo Siwa started working on it. So what was going on when Karma debuted, Dana?
This was April 5th, 2024, and the sun was in Aries and the moon was in Aquarius at midnight, entering Pisces in the early morning. And it was 3 days before the April 8th total solar eclipse in Aries, which again is JoJo's rising sign. The sun was exactly conjunct the North Node, so it's vying for the spotlight and seizing new opportunities. Mercury's retrograde in Aries, which again reflects making decisions that will later be revised. Venus had entered Aries the night before, and it's at 0 degrees at the time of the release. 0 degrees Aries is called the Aries point. It's the first degree of the zodiac, and it deals with interfacing with the public. And since this is Venus we're talking about, it's music. And Mars and Saturn were conjunct in Pisces, just ready to crush some dreams. And Jupiter and Uranus were conjunct in Taurus, which reflects aesthetic divergence. And then looking at this with JoJo's chart, the Sun North Node conjunction in Aries are exactly conjunct her natal ascendant. So that's just wild. When the sun crosses your ascendant, you find yourself in the spotlight. And then the North Node is just that spotlight on steroids. It's eclipse season, so it's about events that change the trajectory of her life, with the eclipses happening in her first house and seventh house. And the moon in Aquarius is in her natal 11th house, making her audience feel some type of way. And Neptune in Pisces is in her 12th house, squaring her natal Saturn in Gemini in her third house. So it's wanting to be uninhibited and taking chances. And then Pluto in Aquarius is square her natal Venus in Taurus. And that's putting her self-confidence maybe in a pressure cooker, or just making her impulsive. Maybe not necessarily impulsive, but I think it's also taking a risk by investing money in herself in order to make more money. So maybe she sunk a lot of her own money into this. And then the Mars-Saturn conjunction in her natal 12th house is about, I guess, hidden enemies, although it seems like a lot of people were very vocal about although I guess maybe if we're talking about hidden enemies, maybe it's the ones that her team, Sarah, that you hypothesize are like just trying to make her a meme.
That's what I was going to say, too, when I saw that. But also, it is wild that the eclipse is like right on her ascendant. Because, I mean, our ascendants are pretty similar. Hers is 15 and mine is 19, but she's right there. And I also think that eclipse is being ruled by Mars conjunct Saturn is just that emoji of the melting face.
Oh, no.
Like you think it's perfect. A good idea, and then you're like, oh no.
And then your kiss makeup melts off.
Yeah.
You're sweating in your leather onesie.
So such a strange. It's the neck makeup that gets me. Like the eye makeup is a lot, but then there's this weird like line from her chin down to her chest.
Oh,
I don't know.
As someone who's a huge fan, I really don't keep up with her at all.
That's how Dana's able to be a huge fan. And she just doesn't know anything about her besides her personality and her astrology.
I like her because she carried Tom Sandoval.
Yes, that's
So
true.
that's why
We should have done the astrology.
Nick Vile couldn't carry him, so JoJo threw him over her shoulder and then carried him.
We should have done the astrology of JoJo Siwa and Tom Sandoval. Maybe we'll do that on the Patreon. But did you guys see the SNL episode where Chloe Feynman did the JoJo Siwa music video? It was so unhinged. It was so funny.
But it's very, very on brand. I'm trying to add something to the chat. I want to add just the makeup that I'm talking about, but just give it a look. What's your initial thought?
She looks like she could play Mugatu in a Zoolander reboot.
Oh my God, it does look like Mugatu.
But yeah, it's a lot. That's why, I mean, somebody had to tell her this was a good idea. Her music video is insane. Like, the music video itself is not good, but the production value on the music video is insane. It's very high quality.
I love that.
Besides this one scene where they reverse her, like, coming out of the water, which was strange. But anyway, if you have not seen her makeup look, just Google JoJo Siwa Kiss makeup and you will find it.
Even
for the
Gene
AOL
Simmons
link
from Kiss commented on it.
What did he say? What did that asshole say?
I mean,
he was like, JoJo is cool. Anybody who doesn't get it is just jealous.
Right, okay, never mind. We're in the same camp.
Yeah, you and Gene Simmons are kindred spirits, I guess.
Also, I love just everyone being like, this girl is cool. Okay. Like, okay, Gene. But anyway, JoJo throughout her life has had a ton of success. She's had a lot of changes recently. I feel like this new look has definitely launched her into conversations other than YouTube children who watch her. So, Dana, what do you think the future holds for her?
So, JoJo's solar return was on May 18th, 2024 at 5:59 a.m. in Omaha, Nebraska. We route the solar return charts to the natal location. And then I did a tri-wheel, so her natal chart's in the middle, and then the progressions for her birthday, and then also her birthday. So she turned 21 on May 19th, entered a 10th house Capricorn Saturn year. So her natal Saturn is in Gemini in her 3rd house, which could impact her siblings or immediate environment. And her natal 10th house has her moon, which is conjunct her midheaven. So she's going to face unfair scrutiny from the public. Or she'll just be really famous, and I'm just defending her against unfair scrutiny. But she will definitely be taking her career to the next level and be dealing with people's opinions about who she is. And there are several aspects in her solar return that put her in the spotlight and reflect her growing power over the next year. And these are Mars in the North Node conjunct her natal ascendant and the South Node conjunct her natal descendant. So the downside of this transit is that it might threaten some of her established relationships, but the North Node on her ascendant just really increases her power and her sense of self. Pluto conjunct the midheaven in Aquarius in her solar return reflects lucrative investments and her growing fame. It's like power. Her solar return ascendant is conjunct her natal sun and North Node, and in her solar return, the ascendant is conjunct her sun, Jupiter, and there was an exact Venus-Uranus conjunction. So it's unequivocal main character energy in a year with surprises, maybe a whirlwind romance with that Venus-Uranus exact conjunction. And then her solar return Mercury is exactly conjunct her natal Venus in Taurus. So Venus is money, Mercury is contracts, Taurus is the throat and the sign of the voice. Maybe she's signing music contracts. Mercury rules her solar return Gemini 2nd house of income and Virgo 5th house of sex, dating, and passion projects. So maybe she'll see those themes come up. Also, her closing Saturn square is amping up now. So it's the last major Saturn transit before your Saturn return. And it doesn't peak until her next solar return, but with her natal Saturn in Gemini in her 3rd house and transiting Saturn in Pisces in her 12th house, she might deal with feeling lonely. Also, maybe pushing the limit on experimenting with substances and learning what her limits are. And then also, she'll be hard at work on secret projects. Maybe she'll debut something next summer when Saturn enters Aries and in her 1st house. But it's some major progressions she's having. So her progressed Venus conjunct her progressed North Node at 29 degrees Taurus is on August 14th and conjunct her natal North Node September 12th. So around these dates and the surrounding months, fated events can occur related to love, money, aesthetic, and values. Her progressed Sun opposes her progressed Pluto November 9th. That can be uncomfortable or exciting transformation, maybe both intense relationships or dealing with people who challenge her authority. Her progressed moon is in Libra in her natal 7th house, crosses her descendant on November 15th. The progressed moon in Libra seeks harmony and definitely more than her natal Capricorn moon, especially when it's transiting her natal 7th house. The progressed moon transiting the 7th house puts relationships into focus, and it hits a peak when it crosses the descendant again on November 15th, which could see her committing to a new romantic relationship or a major business partnership. With the South Node transiting her natal 7th house and their progressed moon, it could be a time of endings, maybe being forced to let go. And her solar return moon is also in Libra, underscoring all of these themes. Then this one's pretty huge. Her progressed Venus enters Gemini and her natal 3rd house on February 21st, 2025. So that will be a major shift since she has a natal Taurus stellium ruled by Venus in Taurus. And her aesthetics or personality might shift as a result. And Venus in Taurus is steadfast and very resistant to change and loves commitment, whereas Venus in Gemini seeks intellectual stimulation, enjoys novelty, maybe less eager to commit. And finally, maybe she'll date more locals or get into stand-up comedy.
Can you elaborate? Do you think that means like a celebrity or like you think it means a normie?
I don't have thoughts. I just report the news.
You just report the news. Okay, someone who lives in her rich-ass neighborhood. So
yeah, or someone like, it could be like, maybe, I don't know, like a parent of one of the kids she coaches, like someone who's like in the environment around her. A local. Someone she meets at the grocery store.
Older.
You know, maybe she dates a comedian. But here are just some other significant transits. The September 17th lunar eclipse in Pisces is in her natal 12th house of secrets, escapism, and hidden enemies, and it squares her natal Saturn in Gemini, challenging her opinions about life or causing friction with her siblings or close friends or those locals she's dating. And on October 2nd, the solar eclipse in Libra is in her natal 7th house of relationships and conjunct her natal descendant, bringing relationship themes to the fore. And it's also conjunct her progressed moon and squaring her natal moon. So maybe taking a relationship to the next step by posting on social media, or maybe a relationship ends because she won't. And it could also just be like relationships, religion, business, and maybe someone asking her to make sacrifices. We wouldn't know about that though. And Neptune in Pisces squares her natal Saturn in Gemini throughout the next year. And that's shaking foundations, being lied to, potentially detrimental coping mechanism is especially significant because Saturn is her time lord and it rules her natal 10th house Capricorn moon and midheaven and her natal 11th house Aquarius Mars, which is her chart ruler. So these are public houses and they're super significant placements for her. She could feel like she's under immense pressure. She could develop trust issues. Things could be confusing or weird for a time. She could also open up. That could be actually a real positive manifestation of this transit. And then these themes could also just be really intense in the winter when the nodes enter Pisces and Virgo and they square her natal Saturn for 3 to 4 months. And then that's followed by Venus stationing retrograde in Aries in her 1st house and retrograding back into Pisces in her 12th house, where they will join, it will join Neptune, the North Node, and Saturn. So that could be a real peak moment for her. That's the end of March. And then Uranus stations retrograde on her natal Sun September 1st. And then Uranus won't actually make the exact conjunction, but it'll be back there around next year. So this Uranus and the Sun is a fun transit. It's an exciting transit to have as a 21-year-old for sure, especially one with all the money in the world. So I wish her well with that. I hope that makes these other transits more fun.
Yeah, I feel like the Venus retrograde back into Pisces might suck a lot.
Damn.
But sometimes it be like that.
That's true.
Sometimes it'd be like that for JoJo. Well, I'm glad to learn more about her. Dana knows so much about her and also nothing about her. So I think that's very interesting. But I'm inspired to watch Dance Moms. So with that, I am Elise.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Allegedly Astrology. Bye.